Hi guys, in this video I want to show you Facebook ads for Shopify dropshipping, how it works, basically all of the fundamentals of it, so you have like a very good understanding how it works and how to leverage it to your advantage and how to create profitable ads for your Shopify store. So these are some of the lessons that we've learned from spending over $40 million on Facebook advertising just last year, and it's basically practice and real advice that I can give you to have a great foundation for your Facebook ad campaign. From a lot of testing and a lot of experience. So as you can see, in the last 30 days we spent $4 million on Facebook advertising. We've generated 332 million impressions, and so basically what you'll see is based on real experience and real data. So let's get started. So as you can see, the Facebook advertising, and specifically for dropshipping, and in this video I want to show you what you need to know about it in the 30 minutes. So the way Facebook works is it's an auction system, right? Facebook ads is an auction. It's not like you are existing by yourself or I'm existing by myself. So we all like competing for the same customers. We all competing to show our ads in news feeds for people, right? And Facebook is obsessed about having their users like you and me, regular users of Facebook, where we are like checking our friends' photos, to have a great experience, because the better experience we will have, the better it will be for a user, and user will be spending more time on Facebook, and then Facebook can show more ads to that user and Facebook can make more money. So they really care about engagements, they really care about user experience. At the same time, when you advertise on Facebook, they care about you as advertiser. So they care about you because the more money you will make as advertiser, like advertising on Facebook, and achieve like your goals. Let's say your goal is getting more sales for your store. The more sales you will generate profitably, the more likely you are to invest more into Facebook advertising. So they're interested to give you this opportunity to basically like advertise and advertise profitably. So from this perspective, Facebook tries to serve these two types of people, right? And so you're competing for the same placements and for the same, to share your ads with all of these different people, right? And Facebook uses some criteria to identify which ads to show to certain users. So for example, one is estimated conversion rate. So let's say if your website converts as 2% and my website converts at 1%, then you will win the auction, because Facebook will think, okay, so this advertiser, it has better website, it will likely to make more money from this like advertising, so let me give this advertiser preference, let him advertise more, make more money, because then he will spend more money with us, right? Then another factor that goes into like considering which ads to show on the platform is a bid, right? So you might have seen some like manual bidding strategies, target cost, max bid, right? So all of these like different strategies, so they have an impact on the performance as well. A lot of like bidding strategies, right? And you can use any of those bidding strategies, but then the most important factor that you can basically influence, you have like a full control of, is your ad quality. And I'll show you in a second what it is and how to influence it. So basically ad quality is how good your ad is compared to other ads, and how good how well people are reacting to it. So that's like relevance score, if you have seen that metric on the ad level. So I'll show you that exactly like in a second, right? So you have all of these metrics, and every second like these auctions are happening, and depending on how well your ads are stacking up to like these other ads, they'll either be shown to users or they will not be shown, right? And so in terms of optimization, let's say when you're targeting the audience of like 2 million people, let's say you're targeting like hair care or some other like interest, then Facebook will only show your ads to like 100,000 people within that audience if you optimize, let's say, for a purchase. Because within that audience of 2 million people, they have different segments and buckets of people that have specific inclinations. So there are people, for example, that are inclined to do more purchases. So they, for example, they have, let's say, 100,000 people that purchased something from other sellers, or maybe they click like shop now button, or maybe they indicated that they're interested in purchasing. So Facebook has this audience like as a segment of this big audience, right? And so this cycle is constantly happening. So this cycle is basically happening every second. Facebook tries to please both of user and advertiser. Facebook tries to help you make more money. Facebook wants to make more money as as a company, and all of these auctions are constantly happening, and you're bidding basically for this audience within bigger audiences. So you're not actually like bidding for 2 million audience, but you're only having like 100,000 people in there. So when your ads stop working and your ads like fluctuating in performance, you have to think like, maybe that's like already saturation point. Maybe I have to refresh my ads, or maybe I have to do something to boost their performance further. Now, before you start advertising, you have to establish your break-even point, right? So break-even point is how much you can actually spend on advertising. And so for different people, that will be like different number, right? So for example, if you sell the product for like $20, right? And so just to give you perspective here, let's say that's the product you sell, it costs like $70, right? And so let's say it costs you like $30 to get this product. So then you have like $40 left for advertising. But then you also have to deduct like all of the apps and all of the fees from that amount. So all of these expenses, they add up. All of the help that you hire to help you with store. So you need to have the margin of safety. And so if you can only, let's say you can only spend like $25 to get a sale, then you have to aim for $20 in order to have that margin of safety, because you need to make a profit. You need to have, some things can happen, right? So you might not be as profitable. So you need to have that margin of errors. Then you have to aim to hit that number, purchases under $20. Right? Or like if you're optimizing for return on ad spend, right? So then you can calculate that number, right? So for example, if you're selling your product at, let's say, $25, right? And like your products and all of the expenses that you have, let's say it costs you like $10, right? So in that case, like you have $15, right? So that margin, like that difference is like $15. So in that case, you would divide that 15 divided by 25, right? 0.6. So you can divide 25 by 15. It will be 1.6 minimum return on ad spend that you have to aim for just to break even, right? So you have to kind of like calculate these numbers beforehand. So when you start advertising, like what to aim for. So make sure that your tracking is on point before you start any like advertising. So for example, here I'll show you that's basically the guide to set up the Facebook pixel. It's very straightforward. It's from Shopify and it's very easy to set up. So just read it and make sure you watch my other video, because I explain how to set up the advanced matching for your pixel. So make sure you watch my other videos on Facebook ads. So Flexify for product catalog and DPA. So if you're advertising and if you're you obviously want to retarget people, because these are like most of the times is like the highest performing ads that you can have. And so Flexify will allow you to set up dynamic product ads. So let's say if someone clicked on your store and seen this product, then this basically catalog will, the dynamic tracking will see that that person seen that specific product, and they'll show that product to them on different platforms, right? And on Facebook, on Instagram, they'll see that same product, so they are more likely to come back to your website and complete the purchase if they haven't, right? So have it set up, because it's very, very important, and Flexify makes it very easy. You can set it up within like 1 minute. Then you have to calculate and measure all of your expenses with your like Order Matrix. Order Matrix is the app for measuring all of the performance. So you can see here, basically it will analyze all of the ad costs, all of the suppliers, all of the fees, all of the processing transaction fees, like lifetime value. You can see the net profit, right? Purchase frequency, like all of these metrics it will analyze for you. And also there is like more advanced stuff like attribution analysis. So it's very, very good stuff, a very, very good app if you want to utilize and measure all of the performance. right? Have spreadsheet with all of your expenses like apps, virtual assistant, product cost, refunds, so you know where you are like in terms of profit, where you are like in terms of expenses, right? So make sure you're tracking all of those metrics, right? So you know whether maybe like you advertise heavily and then you think that you're making profit, but then with all of these expenses added up, maybe you're not making profit. So you have to calculate all of those. Now, learn what works for ads to build your strategy. So with Facebook ads, you have to like constantly like learn what's working, and typically, you know, we like learn to we like to see what competition does, you know, our most successful competitors. So if you know some competitors in your space that are successful, like reverse engineer their strategy for advertising. So here, for example, we would see like what kind of ads, what kind of products they're using, how they're selling them, what kind of wording they use, right? So we can see all of those, you know, things, and we can like reverse engineer and create something similar, model what's working, right? So that's one of the tools, and that is free. You can model, you know, find any page here basically that's currently on Facebook and advertising, and find all of their ads. Now another app that you can use is Ecom Hunt. You can find a link below this video. So it will show you the products that are working, and it also like will show you for every single product. It will show you the ads, it will show you the engagement, it will show you like all of the main stats, so you can kind of like start emulating that funnel if that's successful. So AdSpy, another tool. I like AdSpy a lot because it has kind of like granularity that other apps don't have. Like for example, you can find all of the apps for Shopify and ads that have been seen like in the last like week or so. And then you can see, you know, any like dropshipping products that are just popping up that are, you know, like quite successful. Let's say total likes from, so we want to see products that just went viral. Like let's see if there are any products for dropshipping that went viral for that time period. And so that's kind of like how you do this like research to identify your strategy. Once you find like a good example to emulate, you see like what kind of like advertising strategy, what kind of retargeting strategies they have. So you can quickly learn like what works and what doesn't. And you know, if you find any like successful competitors, I mean, typically the first step is like emulate them, not copy but emulate, and then you know, over time you become better and better. You can create your own stuff, right? So you can see here some of the apps, some of the ads, some of them are brands, some of them drop shipping. So a lot of opportunities here to find products. You can watch my other video on how to find products to sell, so, and specific products that you can sell like, I mean, immediately. Now with all of this, you know, with Facebook strategy, right? So that's Facebook dashboard. You can see the campaign setup is very simple. You want to keep it very simple. You want to have only a few campaigns like hot retargeting, warm retargeting, cold traffic, and like campaigns. So just to boost engagement and more, you know, social proof and engagement, right? So very simple. Facebook likes simple. Facebook doesn't like when you have like hundreds of campaigns, because that overwhelms the algorithm. So they don't want to do that, right? So keep it simple on campaign level. Try to have as less campaigns as possible. But on the ad level, as you can see here, there's quite a lot of stuff happening, right? And you can see all of these here, how everything is set up, right? How everything is basically set up here, like, so I can overview the entire performance of campaigns within like first like 5 seconds, very fast, right? So that's what you want to have in terms of like structuring your ad sets and everything, so you can quickly overview the performance and see where the bottleneck is, right? So, and within all of these like ad sets, if you can see here, like for example, like this one, right? So all of these, like let's say I choose any of these ad sets, I always test like 4 different creatives. Like 4 different creatives, I always test for each one of these ad sets. And the reason I do that is because, you know, all of these like different ads, different people reacting to different stuff. And Facebook, like it likes to have more material to work with. So they are like optimizing for the best ads, right? And so that's basically how it's structured. You can see as less campaigns as possible, all of the ad sets here. And we try to, over time, have higher budgets per ad set. So, we move from like $10, $20 per ad set to like $50, $100 per ad set, because Facebook likes higher budget and less complexity within campaigns. That's how it like optimizes better, because there's less like ad sets and campaigns and less variables entering the auction, so Facebook can optimize it more effectively. So that's different audiences. So you can see here we have like 108 different like audiences and variations of audiences that we've tested so far. It's it's still like testing phase. So there's a lot of audience. There is no case where like you just test one audience and it works and like you don't touch it. You have to always like test the audiences, and the best way to find them is to find like one audience that would make like the most logical sense. Let's say you sell something for dogs, then something brands like BarkBox or maybe like PetSmart would make the most sense for you to target, or targeting interest, for example dog food would make the most sense for you. So you have to identify what that is, and that like core audience, and then from there, using Facebook suggestions, find more relevant audiences and test them, because you never know which ones of them will work out. And then continue testing new audiences on a small budget. Once they work well, you can scale them with CBO or duplicate them with 2x the budget. I have separate video on CBO, so you can check it out in my channel, or you can duplicate them with 2x the budget. So for example here, like I have like smaller ad sets, and I also have ad sets that spend like $2,000. For example, right? So it's been running like quite consistently. And some of the ad sets you can see like initially from all of these metrics here, like click-through rate is it simply doesn't, it didn't click, right? So I had to stop it early, I had to kill it earlier, right? So I have these metrics that I use to basically kill ads like earlier, right? Like, so you have to identify what these are, like for you, like these metrics, and set up the view for yourself so you can like quickly overview the performance of campaigns. And what I mentioned earlier is the relevance score, right? So relevance score is like one of the most important metrics. I'll show you my ads. So my ads typically have like 10 relevance score, and that's what you have to aim for if you want to be competitive in the auction. So something that I showed here, the ad quality, right? The ad quality has to be high if you want to be competitive in the auction. So that's why I showed like the relevance score, right? And now Facebook has different metrics. Like for example, they have quality ranking. So as you can see, quality ranking, then engagement ranking, and you want to be above their average in all of them, right? So as you can see here, I'm not as competitive. So I'm overpaying for my impressions for conversions, as you can see here. So there is some work to be done on this end. So you can see basically how it all kind of like all of the data that shows you the performance picture. Now, learn to read data to optimize. You have to become that crazy scientist. Basically you have to identify the metrics, like for example, cost per click link less than $1. If you get like clicks more expensive than $1, relevant score like 9 to 10. If you get like 5, 6, then probably something is wrong with your ad. So you have to like continue your learning process. Then click-through rate link, it has to be over 3%. Typically for e-commerce like products and ads that are scalable, it's over 3%. You have to optimize and test different variations to find what actually resonates with people, right? And then add to cart ratio. So if you have, let's say, 100 clicks, you need to have at least 10 add to carts, like 10% of people who actually visit your website, 10% of them add product to the cart. And the conversion rate, so minimum 2% or higher for lower ticket products. So sometimes the product might cost like $12 or $20. The conversion rate might be like 5-10%. It's awesome, and good conversion can justify almost any Facebook ads mistake. So what I mean by that is, like for example, if you have conversion rate of like 10% or 20%, and like it's highly converting, then probably you can mess up a lot of stuff on the Facebook ad side. and that will be compensated by your high conversion. But ideally, you want to do well on both sides, and I'll show you how to basically use data to tell you everything. So troubleshooting, when something happens, when your ads are not converting, when your product is not getting you sales or not profitable, then problem is typically, with these two, Facebook or funnel, right? So on the Facebook side, you have all of these metrics outlined, so you can see whether your click rate is too low, whether your cost per click is too expensive. So this is not e-commerce, so that's why the cost per click is so expensive. But with e-commerce, you want to aim for $1. You want to aim for like $2, like 2-3% click rate here, right? So these are the metrics you want to aim for. Overall click rate, as you can see here, is quite good. So, but this click rate link is not as good, right? And so you want to like basically evaluate all of this performance and identify where's the biggest area of improvement. And typically that's within, like getting higher click rate, getting cheaper clicks, getting higher engagement, right? So Facebook gives you preference in the auctions. So these are the questions you want to ask yourself if you have any issues. For example, is click rate link satisfactory to make campaigns profitable, right? You want to ask this yourself. Like if that's like $3, for example, like here, this won't be satisfactory. I have to work to get it lower. Is cost per click, is click rate satisfactory, right? So 2.19, I mean, it's okay, but it can be better. I mean, we aim for 3% plus, so there is a lot of testing to be done, right? Is relevance engagement on ads good? If not, why? Maybe ads resonate with people, maybe not, so you have to identify what specific challenge with that. Is add to cart 10% or more? If not, why? So if, let's say 100 people visited the website and only like one person added to cart, maybe there's some issue on the product page, maybe it's too expensive, right? You have to identify the issue and basically the bottleneck. Is conversion rate 2% or more? And if not, why? Like for example, if let's say 10% of people add to cart and then only 2% of them complete the purchase, and there is some breakdown between people adding to the cart and completing their checkout. Maybe you need to have like floating bar, right, to remind people. Maybe you need to have like cart abandonment sequences, right? So you need to think like how you can improve this whole like funnel, right? That whole kind of like structure from beginning to the end. Now this framework for problem solving, that will save you a lot of time and effort. So first, if engagement is good but no clicks, then product is bad, you have to change it, right? So for example, if you have a lot of engagement but no clicks, then product is bad. Probably, it's just getting engagement, people engaging with it, but people don't actually clicking through, then product is bad, you have to replace it. If engagement is good, clicks are good, but no add to carts, it means that the price is too high, you have to drop the price. So if engagement is good, clicks are good, a lot of add to carts, but no sales, then shipping rate is too high, or you try to upsell with wrong product. So, very simple framework, but you can use it to basically solve any issue with your advertising. You want to analyze like what is bottleneck and how to fix it. So, guys, you can watch my other videos on scaling and targeting, and you can find the link below. It's a free dropshipping course playlist. So in this video, obviously it's impossible to give like all of the information about Facebook advertising, but I try to give you like the overview of like the most important things that you need to know, like the most important like fundamentals of Facebook advertising that you need to understand to make your ads more profitable. And guys, I showed you like all of these insights, they're gathered from a lot of data and a lot of experience. So $4 million in advertising spent in the last like 30 days, right? So there's a lot of data, there's a lot of like learnings, and obviously, we made a lot of mistakes. So I shared some of those with you. I shared some of my insights and like this simplified process to understand like Facebook advertising and how to make it work for any niche, specifically for e-commerce and dropshipping. So that's all you need to know about the fundamentals and the most important factors and how to figure out and how to troubleshoot Facebook advertising. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and like this video. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, there is a playlist below this video, so you have to click and then see like there's a lot of like training videos, awesome videos for you to kind of like get better understanding of Facebook ads, of dropshipping, and scale your ads. And I share my experience, spending $4 or $5 million per month in advertising for e-commerce and dropshipping stores. So we'll be excited to have you